It begins with two neighbors chatting in Kentucky, where they notice a weird phenomenon of burning cattle running down the road. And then out of nowhere a UFO flies away. Then many UFOs are shown leaving the planet Mars and heading for Earth. On the next morning in Washington, D.C., the President James Dale is going through images of the UFOs. He asks Jerry, the press secretary, for his view on this. Jerry says that the people are going to love it, and he can't wait for it to go on the news. General Decker says that they should make it top secret instead of putting it out in the press, and they should move in right away and assess the situation. Jerry says that they can't just sit on it. The president asks General Casey for his opinion. The general asks if they're hostile. General Decker asks him what does he mean, since they've got the whole planet surrounded with thousands of warships. But General Casey questions him if we knows they're warships. The president asks Professor Donald, what do we know about them? Professor says that they're extremely advanced technologically, which suggests they are peaceful. And advanced civilization is definitely not barbaric, and says this is a great day. He and his colleagues are extremely excited. The president says that this will go on all media, and he tells Jerry to write him a good speech. In another room, the president's wife, Marcia, is redecorating and asks her daughter for her opinion. Taffy asks her to leave the room the way it is. Her mother ignores her. In Las Vegas, Nevada, Byron, who works at a casino, gets a call from his wife, Louise, telling him that their sons have not been home in 2 days. He tells her to calm down as this is their age to do so, and that he will call her later, since the casino manager is eyeing him. At the same casino, a couple is arguing. The wife, Barbara, asks her husband, Art, why he is bringing her to a bar, and he says that it's work as he is checking the decor and lighting. He says his Hotel Galaxy is going to be the best hotel in Vegas. But Barbara tells him that he is a crook, and he is destroying the earth with his greed. He tells her to calm down as he's got friends there. She screams at him, so he gives her some money so she can go play roulette and get off his back. She thanks him and leaves. A news anchor, Natalie, informs her colleague Jason that the president is cutting in her show and making an emergency announcement. Jason says that this does not make sense, and the president should be doing it during his show. The president's speech begins. He apologizes for interrupting their programs and says that he has an important announcement to make. He says an extraordinary discovery was made by the Hubble Space Telescope. A boy named Richie at a Donut World store in Kansas watches as the president is giving his speech. The president continues to say that Hubble data was decoded and analyzed by the most powerful computers at MIT, and that flying saucers were observed, and we will soon have an opportunity to meet the aliens. They are coming from planet Mars, and he is glad to know that there is intelligent life out there. Barbara is delighted about their arrival. The next day his newspaper is filled with the news of Martians. Natalie gets a call and is asked to interview Professor Donald from the White House. Jason says this is rubbish as he should be talking to him, but Natalie says she can't help it if his people are slow. Richie goes home. When he enters, he sees his brother loading his gun. He gives his mom donuts and talks about how incredible the Martian situation is. His brother, Billy, then tells them he will be volunteering for the Martian detail. Louise is a bus driver, and suddenly she sees her two sons, Neville and Cedric, playing video games at an arcade. She stops the bus and goes to get them. She scolds them for cutting school and asks them why they didn't come home. Jerry goes to meet some hookers. Natalie is interviewing Professor Donald and asks him that humans have sent probes to Mars, but did not find any Martians then. To that he says that they are probably living under the surface of the planet, in the huge network of canals, and have tremendously good technology. She then asks the professor, what can the Martians teach us? The professor says they can teach us a lot. They can teach us about the universe, about how things began in the universe, maybe even our purpose. He says it's the most exciting thing that's ever happened in ages. Suddenly their program on the television starts to distort. Suddenly a new signal gets projected to all televisions around the world. It's the leader of the Martians. He says something in the Martian language, which we don't understand, and makes a circular sign and leaves. Natalie, who is scared, is supported by Donald. There is a meeting at the White House where Professor analyzes the Martians from the limited resources he has and says that they could possibly have telepathic abilities. They are a carbon-based life form, and they breathe nitrogen. The president asks the professor if they are friendly. The professor says that they are an advanced civilization, hence peaceful and enlightened. But on the other hand, humans are extremely dangerous, and they have more to fear from us than we from them. Then another professor walks in with a translating machine that translates the Martian leader's message, but says it does not work perfectly yet. The Martian talks about the cosmos many years ago, and then says something weird like dark is so swayed that mows like harvest. Everyone is confused by that. Taffy tries to enter the room, but is stopped by Mitch, a Secret Service guard, who tells her she cannot go there as a tour is in progress. Barbara then goes to an Alcoholics Anonymous, where she claims that she has not had a drink since 3 months. Then she talks about being very hopeful because of the Martians, since they have come at the time when the Earth has been bleeding. When we had problems with the rainforest with the ozone, she feels the Martians have come to save us and hear our cry. Richie and his family go to drop Billy as he leaves for the Martian detail. Richie's father then tells him to drop his grandma back to the home. On their way, Richie and his grandmother spoke about the Martians, but Grandma says she was waiting for Muffy and Richie, but she always felt that Richie was the best one. A press conference is conducted. Jerry says that the president is in talks with leaders of different nations to establish common grounds for conversations. He gets asked by the press if they can interview Martians when they land on Earth. Jerry says that it depends many factors like how they overcome communication barriers, and then they can see what happens. The president then arrives and says that he has a few minutes for questions. An interviewer then asks him if the Martians have 2 sexes like us. As Richie reaches the home, he turns on the music for his grandmother and asks her if she needs anything else and leaves. Byron is jogging on the street and Art catches him and asks to join him in his car. He tells Byron that he has made a lot of money from his last fight and owes him something. Hence, Art offers him some cash for going and threatening someone who owes him money. Byron says he doesn't do this anymore. He has changed his ways and has found God. The Martians then send coordinates. The president gets to know that they are coordinates of where the Martians will be landing when they are visiting Earth. General Decker says he can have his troops there by 8 a.m., but Donald tells him they don't need that but a welcome mat instead, as it will send the wrong message. General Decker says they can't let it not be supervised. The president agrees and asks General Casey to take it up. The president says key media and cross-section guests will be present. The army rolls in for the grand event. General Casey says that he gets the honor to greet the Martian ambassador. General Casey tells his men that they need to be perfect as the whole world is watching. He checks with the professor if the translator is working properly. Jason and Natalie are present as well. Jason begins reporting saying that hundreds of people from different states have come there to witness the event. Suddenly a UFO appears. Everyone looks in awe. The UFO lands. A doorway opens from the UFO. A silver ramp comes out. The Martian ambassador walks out with some Martian soldiers. General Casey greets the Martian ambassador. The Martian ambassador then says they have come in peace. A hippie in the crowd releases a dove to mark the moment, but something drastic happens. The Martian does not appreciate the dove coming towards it, feels threatened and shoots the bird. The Martian ambassador then shoots General Casey as well and chaos breaks loose. The army then begins to open fire. The people gathered there are running helter-skelter. The Martian ambassador walks back to his ship. Natalie's trailer is attacked, and she falls to the ground. Jason runs to save her, but gets shot by the Martians, and just his hand remains. The Martian then collect different things like Natalie's dog, holding the reminder piece of Jason's hand, Natalie and her purse, the burnt dove, and take it back to their ship. The president is stunned. General Decker says that we should have attacked first with everything we have got. Donald says that he knows it seems terrible, but they shouldn't judge so quickly. To that Decker says they must nuke them now. Donald says they should establish a line of communication first. To that Jerry says that they should have a town hall to get the public opinion. The president then asks his wife for her opinion. She says they should attack them. Donald says this could be a cultural misunderstanding, as we could all see how they reacted to the dove. Taffy says maybe to them the dove means war. Then the president says that the Martian ambassador did say he's come in peace. Donald prepares a machine for the president to send a message to the Martians. He tells them that he hopes the incident that happened in Nevada desert was a cultural misunderstanding, and there is no doubt that both sides have a great deal to offer one another. He says that the Martians might also be equally excited to find intelligent life forms in the solar system. And he says that they don't have anything to fear from humans and humans mean no harm. A Martian receives the message and takes it with him. As he moves, we see other Martians conducting experiments on the stuff that they took from Earth, like experimenting on the dead dove, Jason's palm, etc. The Martian then gives the message to the Martian ambassador, who shows the message to their leader, and they both laugh about it. Then the leader is shown reading a Playboy magazine. He looks at Natalie and laughs weirdly. Art is asking a person on the phone to get his investors in limos with leather interiors when they fly in. Barbara then enters and tells him that he shouldn't be caring about his hotel, as the Martians have attacked. She was present there, and it was not a misunderstanding. To that, Art tells her that if the Martians land on Earth, they would need a place to stay here. Barbara says that maybe humans deserve to be destroyed, and takes a bottle of alcohol and walks away. Looking at that, Art remembers to add alcohol to the limos the investors will be traveling in. Donald is shown dissecting the Martian body, and he says that they do not have genitalia, and he's curious about many things, and Martians are performing their own kind of experiments. A Martian carries Natalie's conscious head in a vessel and shows her how they have attached her body to her dog's head, and she screams. A funeral is conducted for Billy. Byron calls Louise, telling her when he will arrive there. He speaks to his kids that tell him they are touring the White House tomorrow. Donald gets a message from the Martians. Jerry and him run to the president to give him the message. They tell the president that the Martian ambassador has issued a formal apology and wants to meet the Congress. The president says that this is fantastic and a win for the administration. There is tight security at the White House as they prepare for the Martians to land. Their boards signifying no applause, no birds so as to not make the same mistake as before. The Martians land at the White House. The speaker begins saying that it's a proud day for America. The president, looking at the spectacle on television, asks Jerry why he's not there. Jerry tells him that the Secret Service did not want the legislative and executive wing to be in the same room at the same time. The speaker then calls the Martian ambassador to say a few words. The Martian begins talking and suddenly removes a script, but then stops abruptly and starts shooting and killing people at the Congress. Donald tries to speak to the ambassador and plead with him, but Martian soldiers knock him unconscious. General Decker orders to open fire at the Martians. They carry unconscious Donald onto their ship and leave as the army firing has no effect on their ship. The president has a meeting with his top officials. He then tells General Decker that he owes him an apology. General Decker tells the president that he has prepared a plan to conduct a nuclear strike on the Martians. The president says they cannot use nuclear weapons, as that will start a war. But General Decker says that they are already at war, and they need to annihilate the enemy. But the president tells him to shut up and says that he is still working for the country, and he will protect everyone, and asks Jerry when he can go on air. The president addresses the citizens, saying that he is working with other world leaders to come up with a solution. Donald's conscious head is then seen on the Martian ship. He looks around and sees Natalie, whose head is attached to her dog's body. We then see a weird-looking lady standing out of the White House looking at it. Jerry's car passes by, and he stops to talk to her and asks her if she wants a personalized tour of the White House. She agrees. Jerry takes her to the White House, and when he goes to kiss her hand, it is shown that her ring is an eye that is the camera for the Martians. He then takes her to a secret room and gets her a drink. She sits on the bed. He goes in to kiss her, then tries to remove the gum from her mouth, but she bites his finger off and spits it out. Jerry runs to call security, but she takes a metal object and hits him on the head, knocking him out. Then goes to other rooms, which includes the president's room, and records them on her ring. Then she takes off her mask, and she is actually a Martian. She then removes a gun to shoot the president, but the president's dog barks and the president and his wife wake up. The president immediately alerts the security about the breach and goes towards the Martian to grab its gun. The security arrives on the spot to see that the president is in a hostage situation. As the Martian leads him out, a bird distracts the Martian. The president ducks and soldiers shoot the Martian. The Martian leader is angry and soldier Martians are arming themselves and wearing their war suits. As the scientists are analyzing the Martian's body, they realize that they can breathe in our atmosphere. The Martians then attack a monument with laser. The president is informed that there is a full-scale invasion going on, and he needs to be guided to safety. Byron's kids are touring the White House, and suddenly a Martian shoots their tour guide, and they run away. There are Martians everywhere. Taffy gets left behind as the president is guided to safety. Byron's kids, Neville and Cedric, take the guns from some dead Martian. The president's wife gets left behind, and a chandelier falls on her. Neville and Cedric start shooting the Martians and kill many. They then kill the Martians near the president and save the president. As Art is speaking to his investors, the Martians attack his hotel, and it breaks into two. Byron wants to go to his family, but couldn't since his flights were cancelled. Then Barbara comes rushing to him, asking him if he knows anyone who can fly a plane, as she wants to go to Tahoe, as the Martians won't find that place, and tells him where the plane is. He says he wants to go to Washington, D.C. The Martians then attack the casino, and Byron punches and kills a Martian. He then asks a man if he knows to fly a plane. As Richie left for home and is driving away in his truck, the Martians burn down the donut shop. He asks his parents if he can go pick his grandma up, but his parents tell him to load guns instead. The depressed president gets a call from the France president, who he tries to warn, but the Martians attack them as well. The army is trying to fight the Martians, who are shooting lasers and causing destruction everywhere. General Decker then comes in and asks the president to sign an order to deploy their nuclear capability. They go nuclear. The Martians send a probe that sucks up the entire blast, and nothing happens. Richie says he's going to get his grandma. His parents tell him not to, but he does it anyway. Then a huge Martian robot appears and picks up his trailer and crashes it as Richie is driving. The Martian sees his truck and starts following him. Byron then leads as few others follow him to the plane. The Martian robot is now running behind Richie's truck, but soon get entangled in the electricity lines and falls to the ground. The Martians have brought a big gun and are attacking the home where Richie's grandma is. They spot her quietly listening to music on her headphones and take the gun towards her. Richie comes in and screams "Grandma." She jerks and her headphones come off, which causes the music to play loudly. The Martians can't tolerate the music and hold their head in pain. Soon their brain bursts and they fall to the ground. They realize that Grandma's music is making the Martians die. The Martian then break the command center door. Their leader then walks in. General Decker tells them that they will never surrender and will keep fighting, and shoots them, but it has no effect on them. The Martian leader shoots a laser that shrinks General Decker, and after he has shrunken to an apple size, the Martian leader stamps him and begins shooting everywhere. The president then tries to negotiate with their leader. They even shake hands, but the Martian's hand then turns into a weapon and kills the president, and their flag comes up over the president's dead body. Richie and his grandma are driving around playing the music loudly and killing many Martians on the way, and Richie says he's heading to the radio station. Byron and the gang find the plane. Richie then plays the music on the radio, and everyone can hear it. As Byron's opening the gates, they see many Martians gathered outside. Byron goes to distract them, tells the gang to go without him, and challenges them for a fight. One of the Martian takes off his coat and goes ahead to fight him. Byron manages to kill that Martian, but then all the Martians jump on him to fight him. As Barbara is flying away, she thinks that he's probably dead. Then people start roaming with radios, and the army starts roaming with radios playing the music as well. And many Martians start dying, and their spaceships crash into each other. Humans have finally won. Now they start cleaning up the dead Martian bodies. Barbara and the gang land, and they see that the invasion has stopped. Taffy then presents a medal to Richie's grandmother and him. Richie then gives a speech thanking his grandma and says that the people can start rebuilding their houses now. We see that Byron is not dead, and he returns to his family. Thank you guys for watching, and if you liked this video, make sure to watch the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Bye.